It was a quiet morning on Gearlock Road in Pictou County, Nova Scotia. Too quiet. By the end of that day, 2 young children, 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, were gone. Vanished without a trace. It's been weeks since then. Hundreds of tips, hours of search time, new evidence, even polygraph tests. And yet, Lilly and Jack are still missing. This is the story so far. On May 1st, the day before they disappeared, Lilly and Jack were seen in New Glasgow. Surveillance footage captured them inside a Dollarama store with their mother, Malicia Brooks-Murray, and her partner, Daniel Martel. That was the last confirmed public sighting. The next morning, May 2nd, the children were reported missing from their rural home on Gearlock Road. Their mother told police she woke up and found them gone. Immediately, RCMP and search teams poured into the area. Dozens of officers, search dogs, drones, and even thermal imaging combed through more than 200 acres of thick woods, ravines, and brush. Volunteers joined in. But after 5 days, with nothing found, the large-scale ground search was scaled back. Pieces of evidence did surface. A pink blanket, believed to belong to Lilly, was discovered torn in two. One part was found in a tree about a kilometer from the home. Another piece turned up in a trash bag at the end of the driveway. Yet, when sniffer dogs were brought to the site, they couldn't trace the children's scent. From the beginning, RCMP leaned toward the theory that the children wandered away on their own. No signs of forced entry. No immediate evidence of an abduction. Still, investigators dug deeper. They interviewed more than 50 people, reviewed hundreds of hours of surveillance, collected phone and banking records, and even polygraphed family members. The results? Mixed. Both Malicia and the children's biological father, Cody Sullivan, were found to be truthful on key questions. Daniel Martel, the stepfather, also took a test. The children's step-grandmother, however, had inconclusive results due to medical factors. Over 480 tips came in. One witness claimed to have seen 2 children walking toward a sedan on May 2nd, with an older woman standing nearby. But that sighting has never been confirmed. With so many leads but no hard answers, theories began to swirl. Did Lilly and Jack wander into the wilderness? Were they taken by someone they knew? Or was there something more complicated at play? By July, RCMP made a surprising statement. They no longer considered the investigation criminal in nature. Still, it remains active. The government of Nova Scotia has put up a $150,000 reward for information. And police continue to analyze evidence and re-interview witnesses. One detail that's hard to ignore is silence. Silence from investigators who keep their findings close. And silence from Lilly and Jack's mother. After her first porch interview in early May, she hasn't spoken publicly again. For some, that silence feels protective. A grieving mother staying out of the spotlight. For others, it raises questions. In the absence of answers, speculation grows louder. What we know is this: 2 children disappeared from their own home. No arrests, no suspects, no Amber Alert, and no sign of Lilly and Jack. Their beds remain untouched, their toys still scattered, their names now known far beyond Pictou County. If you know anything, no matter how small, police want to hear it. The truth about what happened between May 1st and May 2nd could still be out there. Until then, the silence surrounding this case remains the loudest part of all.
It has been nearly 5 months since 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan disappeared from their home in Pictou County, Nova Scotia. So for weeks, hundreds of trained search teams and RCMP investigators scoured the wooded area, searching for anything, any clue that would lead to conclusive evidence of the siblings' disappearance. Despite hundreds of tips, dozens of interviews, their disappearance remains unsolved.
What happened to Corey Daniely? The 33-year-old vanished under bizarre and unsettling circumstances in Fresno County, California. And to this day, no one knows why. It was August 7th, 2023, Corey's birthday. He was at a party on South Bishop Avenue when he got into an argument with another guest. No one knows what it was about, but the fight ended with Corey storming out of the house. Witnesses say he left wearing just red sweatpants, Nike shoes, and no shirt. His mother insists that detail doesn't add up. She says Corey would never walk off without a shirt. And yet, that was the last time anyone saw him. After that, Corey was gone. Corey wasn't familiar with the area, which makes the possibility of getting lost easy to believe. But his family doesn't buy it. And soon, even more troubling signs began to appear. On August 11th, just 4 days later, Corey was supposed to play a show with his band, Crumdread. Music was his second biggest priority in life. His first was his 1-year-old son. Corey wouldn't abandon either, but he never showed up. Not to practice, not to the gig, not anywhere. His mother says Corey kept constant contact with family. For him to suddenly stop reaching out was a massive red flag. At the time, Corey was living in Santa Rosa with a roommate. Even his roommate hadn't heard from him. Authorities quickly admitted what the family already knew. These were suspicious circumstances. And then came a disturbing twist. One name surfaced, Zach Stiles, a former friend of Corey's. He was at the party the night Corey vanished. And somehow he ended up with Corey's cell phone. When asked to hand it over, Zach refused. Why he had the phone and why he kept it has never been explained. Despite searches, interviews, and pleas for information, the trail went cold. Corey Daniely, musician, father, son, walked out of a party on his birthday and was never seen again. Someone at that party knows what happened. The only question is, why are they staying silent? 18-year-old Devlin Tait vanished without a trace. But this isn't just another missing persons case. Because Devlin isn't like most teens. And that makes what happened next even more disturbing. Devlin suffers from several disorders: autism, Tourette's, fetal alcohol syndrome, and cerebral palsy. His mental capacity is closer to that of an 8-year-old child. He depends on his family for care. And that's why his disappearance has left them terrified. He has no way of surviving on his own. So, how does someone like Devlin just disappear? Devlin lives in Lake Odessa, Michigan. He has a routine. Every morning he goes for a walk. April 21st, 2025, started the same way. At 8:20 a.m., he left home. But this time he never came back. And the last place he was seen raised even more questions. Security cameras show Devlin at Carl's supermarket downtown. He bought a few items, paid with his bridge card. That was it. That was the final confirmed sighting. Because after that, the trail went cold. On a normal day, Devlin would head straight home. But by evening, when he didn't return, panic set in. His family called the police. Their biggest fear? His medication. Every single dose left behind. And the next discovery only made things worse. Investigators checked his bridge card, the electronic benefits card Devlin always used. He swiped it at Carl's that morning. But since then, silence. No transactions. No activity. His phone? Straight to voicemail. Texts? Never delivered. It was as if Devlin had simply vanished off the map. Then came a twist. The Ionia County Sheriff's Office revealed that Devlin had minor legal issues in other counties. Nothing violent, but enough to make him nervous around police. Could it be that Devlin got lost and is now too scared to ask for help? Or is something much darker going on? His family refuses to give up. Flyers, t-shirts, Facebook page. They've even offered a $1,000 reward for information leading to him. But still no leads. No sightings, no trace, and that leaves only questions. Where is Devlin Tait? Did he get lost? Was he lured away? Or is someone keeping him hidden? Police are urging the public. If you've seen anyone matching Devlin's description in the Lake Odessa area, call immediately. The number is 616-527-5737. For Devlin's family, every hour counts. Because until he's found, one haunting mystery remains. How does an 18-year-old with the mind of a child disappear into thin air? Joni Knight will never forget the last time she saw her father. It was July 3, 2024. Vaughn Callenback, 77 years old, showed up at her door in Franklin, North Carolina. He had driven all night from Lake Burton, Georgia. His reason? He wanted to pawn a firearm to his son-in-law. Vaughn promised he'd deposit the money in the bank the next day. That night, Joni made him dinner. After the long drive, he ate, rested, and decided to spend the night. By 8 a.m. the next morning, July 4th, he was gone. Joni assumed he realized banks were closed for the holiday. She thought nothing of it. But no one knew. That would be the last time she ever saw him. A day later, someone reported seeing Vaughn at the United Community Bank in Clayton, Georgia. That was the very last confirmed sighting. Then silence. On July 13th, Joni got a chilling call from her half-sibling. No one had seen Vaughn in days. He was missing. Joni drove to her father's home at Lake Burton. What she found was disturbing. Vaughn's 7 dogs and dozens of chickens, left behind, unfed. He would never abandon them. Something was wrong. That night, he was officially reported missing. Soon, another detail surfaced. Days earlier, Vaughn's truck had already been found, abandoned near Old Coleman River Road, 10 miles from his home. It was crashed down an embankment in thick woods. Search teams combed the area. At first, the search was hasty, something the family criticized. Later, efforts intensified, but there was still no trace of him. Vaughn Callenback was gone. Joni says not knowing is what eats her alive. If her father is gone, she wants answers. She wants to know where his body is and what sinister event led to his disappearance. Vaughn was a simple man. He didn't own a phone. He went weeks without contacting anyone. He just wanted to live quietly with his dogs and his chickens. But now his silence has turned into mystery. A father, a backwoods countryman, vanished into the Georgia wilderness. And the one haunting question remains, what happened to Vaughn Callenback? A young mother, gone without a trace. Her car left abandoned on a highway, phone, keys, and purse still inside. No struggle, no goodbye, just silence. This is the case of Crystal Rogers, a mystery that still haunts Kentucky, and one that turned deadly for anyone who got too close. Crystal was 35 years old in 2015, a mother of 5, living in Bardstown, Kentucky, a town that looks peaceful, but hides a dark reputation for unsolved crimes. She was known as kind, outgoing, and devoted to her kids. At the time, she was in a relationship with Brooks Houck, the father of her youngest child. July 3, 2015. The last night she was seen. Brooks claimed they spent the evening at his family farm. He said she was awake, playing games on her phone, when he went to bed.
So you go to bed, she stays up, what's she doing?
She's just on her phone, playing, I don't know what game, but she normally plays a game.
Right.
Some kind. She's got several of them on there, but I don't know which one.
Do you know what time Eli came to bed, or she put him into bed?
I don't know.
And so when you wake up, he's there, but Crystal's not.
She's not.
By morning, she was gone. Her family knew immediately something was wrong. Crystal would never disappear without a word. 2 days later, her maroon Chevy Impala was found on the Bluegrass Parkway. Inside, her purse, her keys, her phone, everything except her. And that highway, already infamous. Just 2 years earlier, a Bardstown police officer was murdered there. His killer has never been caught. Suspicion fell on Brooks. His story didn't add up. Then came another twist. His brother, Nick Houck, a police officer, tried to interfere with the case. He warned Brooks not to talk to investigators. Nick was later fired, but still, no arrests. Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, refused to give up. He led searches, pressured police. He became the family's voice for justice. Then, another tragedy. November 2016. Tommy was out hunting on his own property. A single gunshot. He was killed instantly. To this day, his murder is unsolved. Many believe it was no accident, but a warning. Years passed. No body. No answers. Brooks moved on with his life. But in 2023, everything changed. Prosecutors indicted Brooks Houck for Crystal's murder. His brother Nick and their associate Joseph Lawson were charged for helping cover it up. Investigators believe Brooks killed Crystal. The others helped hide her body. But to this day, Crystal has never been found. The Houck brothers plead not guilty. Trials are still ongoing. This case isn't just about one missing mother. It's about a small town drowning in secrets. A family that lost a daughter and a father in the search for truth. Until Crystal's body is found, and everyone responsible is held accountable, Bardstown will remain in the shadow of her disappearance. So, what do you think really happened to Crystal Rogers? Was this a carefully planned cover-up that lasted years, or will the truth finally come out in court? Yolan Miller was born and raised in Arizona. She studied visual communication and advertising at Pima Community College, and later, Northern Arizona University. But Yolan would never get the chance to put her skills to use. Instead, she became the center of a mystery, one that still haunts Sedona to this day. It was June 19, 2022. 38-year-old Yolan left her home on Northview Road in Sedona. She told her roommate she was heading to Jerome for a meeting. She dressed up, pearls, a nice outfit. She left in a hurry, and then she vanished. She didn't take her dog, which she always brought along. She never came home that night. She missed work the next morning. She missed her doctor's appointment. By then, it was clear. Yolan was missing. 5 days later, investigators made a disturbing discovery. Her 2015 Ford Escape, dark gray, abandoned on a Forest Service road near Henanke Heritage Site, 15 miles west of Sedona. Inside the car, her purse, her license, social security card, credit cards, keys, everything left behind. And the car had been sitting there since the very day she disappeared. Family and investigators were baffled. The area was rough, remote, not a place Yolan would have gone alone. She had health issues. Hiking there was impossible. Still, the trails were searched, and nothing was found. Friends said Yolan was grieving the loss of her brother the year before, but she wasn't spiraling. She was focused on caring for her mother. There was no clear sign of a mental health crisis, which only raised darker questions. Had she been lured away, maybe by someone she met online? Or had another car taken her from that forest road? In 2023, her family, heartbroken, accepted what they feared most, that Yolan was likely gone forever. And yet, her case remains unsolved. A young woman, a sudden disappearance, car abandoned with everything inside, and no answers, only silence, and the haunting mystery of what happened to Yolan Miller. Piha Beach, black sands, towering cliffs, a jewel of Auckland, but for some, a place of whispers, stories of serial killers, unknown predators, even darker forces, because at Piha, people vanish. In September 2019, a French exchange student named Eloi Rolland arrived in New Zealand, just 18 years old. He stayed with a host family in Birkenhead, on the North Shore. For months, life seemed good. Study, routine, stability. But in March of 2020, the Black Sands would call his name. On March 6th, Eloi left his host family's home. He didn't come back for dinner. First, no alarm. Maybe he was exploring. But hours became days. And by then, the fear was real. Police began tracking his movements. They turned to his phone. At 5 a.m. on March 7th, Eloi searched for directions to Piha Beach. The reason? Simple. He wanted black sand. A souvenir. But it would become his final journey. CCTV told the story. 6:30 a.m., Britomart train station. Minutes later, he exited at Fruitvale. From there, he walked 11 kilometers, nearly 2 hours on foot. By 9 a.m., his phone pinged one last time on Piha Road. Then, silence. No more signals. No more sightings. Police scoured the area. Nothing. No bag. No clothing. No trace. It was as if the black sands had swallowed him whole. The case faded from headlines, but for his family, the mystery never left.
On est venu en Nouvelle-Zélande parce que on est venu retrouver Eloi, parce que ça fait beaucoup de temps qu'on vit son absence à la maison en France et qu'on avait besoin, suite à sa disparition, qu'on avait besoin d'entendre sa parole, qu'on avait besoin de l'écouter et de savoir ce qui s'était passé. Et en fait, on n'a pas pu venir en Nouvelle-Zélande à cause de la fermeture des frontières. Et de fait, à l'heure d'aujourd'hui, eh bien, plus de 2 ans après.
Where did Eloi go? Did he slip into the sea? Was he lured into danger? Or does Piha Beach hide something no one dares name? 5 years have passed. Still no answers. Only whispers. And the chilling reminder that some places keep their secrets buried. 17-year-old Samantha Chun had her whole future ahead of her. On the night of January 17, 2025, she went out with her boyfriend, 18-year-old Joseph Fujioka, in Pukaya, Hawaii. It was meant to be a night of peace, joy, and ocean air. Instead, it became a night of tragedy. One that ended with Joseph's death and Samantha's disappearance. At 9:54 p.m., the couple was seen on surveillance cameras at the Aloha gas station on Kipa Drive, calm, happy, preparing for a quiet evening at Kia Beach, near Sharks Cove. By 10:30 p.m., they had arrived. That was the last time either of them was seen alive. When neither returned home the next morning, families rushed to the beach. What they found was chilling. Their belongings scattered on the sand. Joseph's silver 2012 Toyota Corolla, still parked nearby. But no trace of Samantha or Joseph. At 10:45 a.m., Joseph's mother called Honolulu police. A search began immediately. The ocean was unforgiving that night. Waves had reached 30 to 40 feet, towering walls of water that even expert swimmers couldn't withstand. On January 18th, during the search, authorities found remains about 200 yards offshore. They were later confirmed to be Joseph's, but Samantha was gone. Investigators searched their phones for answers. Joseph's device shut off at 11:06 p.m. at Kia Beach. Samantha's phone offered one last heartbreaking glimpse into their final moments. Her mother, Kiyomi, revealed the last video. Samantha and Joseph sitting together, gazing at the stars, smiling, laughing, happy. It was the last proof of their love, and the last evidence of Samantha's presence. While Joseph's body was recovered, Samantha's has never been found. For her family and her community, the loss is unbearable. Her bright spirit, her laughter, her future, stolen by a night that turned deadly. And yet, the ocean keeps its secrets. To this day, Samantha Chun has never been located. Her disappearance leaves one haunting question. Did the waves claim her that night? Or is there more to this mystery than anyone knows? 66-year-old Michael Bolen vanished in March of 2024. But this wasn't just another missing person case. Because before long, suspicion would fall on the one person closest to him. His own son. Michael lived in McGuffey, Ohio, with his 42-year-old son, Dustin. On March 28th, Michael wasn't at home. He had stayed at his mother's house overnight. The next morning, he left. He told her he'd be back later. He needed to do laundry. But he never returned. At first, she didn't panic. Maybe he'd been delayed. Maybe he just didn't get around to the laundry. But by the next day, Michael's absence couldn't be ignored. Because on March 29th, he was supposed to attend a medical scan. He never showed up. Calls to his phone went unanswered. And that's when the missing person report was filed. Police searched the areas around his home on Hunniger Street. Nothing. No trace. But witnesses had seen Michael at the house around that time. And soon, investigators began to suspect that the answers they were looking for might be inside the home he shared with Dustin. In April, detectives searched the house. They seized several items. What exactly they found has never been made public. But whatever it was, it changed everything. Because shortly after, Dustin Bolen was arrested. The charges were chilling: ending his father's life, tampering with evidence, interfering with remains. And there was more. Dustin was already under a no-contact order, tied to a domestic violence case. Now, the strained relationship between father and son was in the spotlight, and the truth began to unravel. In March of 2025, Dustin faced trial. He pleaded guilty to all charges. It came out that his addiction to illegal substances had fueled constant conflict at home. Dustin admitted he wished he'd simply walked away instead of what he did, but it was too late. He was sentenced to 19 years in prison. A father gone, a son behind bars, and a family left with answers that were as disturbing as they were heartbreaking. What happened to Sally Allan? That question has haunted her family since 2016, when a security camera captured something truly unsettling. It was Boxing Day, December 26th, in Northumberland. Early that morning, 59-year-old Sally left her home for reasons no one has ever been able to explain. Around 3 a.m., she quietly slipped out into the cold winter night. She was dressed only in pink pajamas and a waterproof jacket. Alone, she began walking through deserted streets, unseen by anyone. Hours later, Sally reappeared. A security camera captured her along Newcastle's quayside at 7:15 a.m. She was now 11 miles from home. In the footage, she was walking quickly with clear purpose, as though heading somewhere specific. Her pink pajamas stood out vividly against the dark streets. Then, just moments later, she disappeared from view near the Copthorne Hotel, close to the swing bridge. That was the last confirmed sighting of her alive. Where did she go next? Investigators considered many possibilities. She could have continued toward the city center, perhaps to the Hilton Hotel. She might have crossed the Tyne Bridge, or followed the Quayside River path. But after that footage, she seemed to vanish into thin air. When Sally's 3 children hadn't heard from her later that day, alarm bells rang. They rushed to the police to file a missing persons report. While mental health was raised as a possibility, her children pushed back. They insisted that Sally's Christmas the day before had been cheerful and calm. She had been in good spirits, enjoying time with her family. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Police began a large-scale search. Officers scoured the streets, nearby hotels, and riverbanks. Volunteers joined in. But the day ended with nothing. The next morning, the search resumed. More ground was covered. Leads trickled in, sporadic sightings were reported, but none could be confirmed. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Still, there were no answers. Then a breakthrough came, but it wasn't the one her family had hoped for. On February 3rd, a body was discovered in the River Tyne near Jarrow. It took days before identification could be confirmed, leaving Sally's family in agonizing suspense. Eventually, the grim reality set in, but the discovery only raised more questions than it answered. Why did Sally leave that night? She had been happily married, inseparable from her husband. Was she suffering from a sudden health episode? Could it have been the onset of dementia? Or something else entirely? The CCTV offered one disturbing clue. Sally didn't look like herself. She was moving quickly, almost angrily, as if something had pushed her to act. But what? To this day, no one knows for sure. The mystery of Sally Allan remains unsolved. Her family, her community, and the investigators who searched for her are still left in the dark. A mother, a wife, and a friend, gone without reason. And one haunting question remains. What really happened to Sally Allan? Noemi Bolivar, just 21 years old, bright, spiritual, full of dreams. Her goal? To work for the National Park Service. In 2020, she graduated from Brigham Young University in Idaho with a degree in plant and wildlife ecology. But just months later, she would vanish without a trace. It was February 11th, 2021, in Hollywood, Florida. At 4 p.m., Noemi left her parents' home for a walk. She told them she was going to a nearby nature preserve. She never came back. Surveillance cameras caught her boarding a bus on Sheridan Street. Minutes later, she got off along the Intracoastal Waterway. By 6 p.m., she sent a Snapchat photo from the Unsolved Nature Center. She was at the observation tower, smiling. 15 minutes later, silence. She missed Bible study on Zoom that night. She didn't answer her phone. By 7 p.m., her parents were frantic. By midnight, they had filed a missing persons report. Police traced her phone. It pinged near South Ocean Drive, close to the beach, around 10 to 11 p.m. And then, it went dead. You'd expect a massive search, right? But authorities waited 6 days before combing the area. By then, it was too late. Noemi was gone.
The reason why we're doing that is to possibly find any evidence or any indication of where she could possibly be or have traveled. At this time, we want to assure the family, we want to assure the citizens that we're doing everything we possibly can to help find Noemi.
It's like part of my heart has been taken out.
Bolivar's parents are frantic. Noemi just graduated college and has been home the past year during the pandemic. They say she left their home with no money and no ID, took a bus to the nature center.
We've had people out for the last 6 days looking basically, 24/7 almost.
At Bolivar's church, friends have been taking stacks of flyers with her picture every day, blanketed parks, and knocking on doors, hoping someone knows something.
I was out searching for her yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We're getting lots of tips every single day, people that think that they may have seen her. Some are more credible than others, but it gives us hope that she is out there and we want to bring her home.
Her parents were devastated. Her phone, wallet, ID, money, everything was left at home. No bank activity, no social media, nothing. It was as if she had disappeared into thin air. In March, a chilling detail surfaced. Her phone was briefly turned back on. 3 friends received text messages. Conversations were started. But not a single word was ever typed. Then the phone shut off again. And with that, the trail went cold. Did someone lure her away? Was she taken? Or is there something even darker hidden in the silence of Hollywood? Florida. 3 years later, her disappearance remains one of the most disturbing unsolved cases in South Florida. Noemi Bolivar's dreams ended where the trail of clues began. At a bus stop and a photo. That would be her last. The strange case of Erin Moran Brooks. On December 27, 2021, the last known image of Erin Moran Brooks was captured inside a shop in Satansisk, New Brunswick. Not long after, she disappeared without a trace, leaving her family, her community, and investigators searching desperately for answers. Since that day, Erin has not been seen or heard from again. Her disappearance is now one of many unresolved cases that weigh heavily on the families of missing Indigenous women across Canada. Erin was a Wolastoqey woman and a member of St. Mary's First Nation. Her family remembers her as a bright, energetic, and curious child. Her mother, Laurie Brooks, recalls how Erin was always smiling and keeping herself busy. That joyful spirit was central to who she was. But as Erin grew older, life became more complicated. She sometimes snuck out at night and struggled with her temper. Behaviors her mother admits only worsened with time. While her lifestyle may have played some role in her disappearance, her family says they truly do not know what happened. The day Erin vanished, her life seemed to be moving forward as usual. But from the moment she was last seen in that shop, her trail went completely cold. In the weeks and months that followed, her loved ones endured an agonizing wait. Vigils were held in her honor, offering support to the family and raising awareness about her case. Search efforts took place in the woods around Fredericton, but no trace of Erin was found. With every passing day, the uncertainty deepened, and the silence surrounding her disappearance became harder to bear. Still, the community rallied. Determined to keep Erin's name alive, they stood beside her family. Anonymous donors even came forward, offering a $65,000 reward for information leading to her whereabouts. Yet, despite the reward and all the search efforts, Erin remains missing. For Erin's mother, the hardest part is the lack of closure, living each day without knowing what truly happened to her daughter. But Erin's story is more than a personal tragedy. Her disappearance is part of a wider crisis. The hundreds of Indigenous women and girls who have gone missing or lost their lives under mysterious circumstances across Canada in recent decades. Each case carries its own heartbreak, but together they reveal a troubling reality, one that highlights the risks Indigenous women face and the deep grief left behind for their families and communities. Today, Erin Moran Brooks is still missing. Her name continues to be spoken at vigils, in interviews, and at community gatherings. Her story is kept alive by those who love her, ensuring she will never be forgotten. 45-year-old Jennifer Hollowell Watkins's case has left investigators baffled, since they have a good idea of her last known movements, some of which were caught by CCTV cameras, but they've been unable to track her down for more than 2 months. At the time, she was living in Washington, North Carolina. And on the morning of the 27th of June, 2025, she was seen on VA Road, though reports do not indicate whether she was walking or traveling in a vehicle. When her stepmother had not heard from her for 2 days, she contacted the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office and told them that Jennifer had not come home. A missing person investigation was started, and one of the investigators' first tasks was to ascertain her last known movements. CCTV footage from a Speedway store on Highway 264 showed Jennifer visiting the store on the night before she disappeared. In the footage, she doesn't seem to be in any kind of distress or under anyone's control. While searches of the area were carried out, not a single trace of Jennifer has been found so far, and her family is growing ever more desperate for information on her whereabouts. During the resulting investigation, several of her friends were interviewed, but no one could add anything useful to the information that had been gathered. Several people have contacted Crime Stoppers to submit tips, all of which were followed up on, but still no sign of Jennifer has been found. The police have stated that their investigation has revealed no evidence of foul play in her case, and hence they've not identified any suspects that may be responsible for her disappearance. The National Center for Missing and Endangered and the Aware Foundation have taken an active interest in Jennifer's case and have aided in searches for her. But for the time being, they've been unable to find any additional information that could progress her case. In hopes that someone will come forward with additional information, a $5,000 reward is being offered by Crime Stoppers to anyone who comes forward with a useful tip that leads to Jennifer being tracked down. The last person to see Jennifer was one of her friends, who told the police that she seemed completely normal, and hence her disappearance has left everyone involved mystified. Investigators and her family have asked that the public keep an eye out for her and report any sightings. They can remain anonymous if they wish. With every passing month, Jennifer's case grows colder. And with no new leads coming in, her case needs to be solved before it goes completely cold. According to Jennifer's estranged sister, she was in an on-and-off-again relationship with a man who her family considers to be dangerous, since they believe she was a victim of domestic abuse. While investigators don't think that foul play is involved, her family feels that something untoward may have happened to her, since the man with whom she was involved for more than 10 years is said to have treated her badly. Anyone who has information on Jennifer's whereabouts is urged to get in contact with the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office at 252-946-7111. Her NAMUS case number is MP149037.